Hello everyone. So today I am going to introduce you a new application that's called the complex animation. So that today we are going to create that particular object what is displayed in the screen, and later we will start uh, creating some different animation paths into that particular object. Okay, so here, what exactly do we need to design? So that particular application contains from two different part of circles. So the first part is the sector over the 90-degree with the radius 1, the big radius, and another circle which has a smaller radius compared to the first one. So, and this is also the sector of 90 degrees. So all of those four objects, what we can see in the screen, has been created using the different combination of those two general objects. So similar to what we did before in our previous application. So what will be the difference? The first difference is that instead of the direct way of using the vertices, today we will discuss the more advanced way of combining the few different objects together. So, and the second object, the second point what we will discuss today is the complex animation. So where there are a few objects that's supposed to present some animation in a little bit more complex manner compared to what we discussed before. So the first what we will need to do is to make that particular static image. So that image contains four objects, and one by one, step by step, we will discuss how to create those particular objects. So for that we need a new application. So I already made it, so you can make a new one. So the complex animation video. So this is our new app. Okay, so in here we need to get, the first what we will need to design is that particular sector. So as long as before we play with the ellipse and circle, they are not really different. So I will recommend you to use our previous application, which is our clone animation. So this application, so the clone animation, so that's what we did last time. So here they were the four objects. So and each object contains two parts. So and that was the way how did we define the objects and different animation points. So and today, yeah, better to start from that. So that particular part. So I will just delete all unnecessary segments from that code. Okay. I will just one by one copy the files from clones animation into our new application complex animation video. Okay, so the first is the main activity. So that steps we repeat many times. So I think that should not cause a lot of issues. Okay, just let's do it one by one. So open GL surface view. GL surface view, GL renderer. GL renderer, okay, and here I will create a new Java class, what I will call complex animation. Complex animation. So, and inside I will insert information from the class clones. So I will copy everything. See here, like inside of the class, public class clones. So I will place it here. So OpenGL, the Android Studio is telling me what to add. I add, okay, and see here it's still there is some problem because the complex animation class is not fixed. So here we do have clones, class clones, so that will be the complex animation. So this part is finished. So now in the GL renderer, so here I do have class complex animation, So and we just add necessary components here. So again, this is our new class, complex animation. This is the object of the class. So on surface created, we are creating the new object of that class. And when we need to draw and refresh our frame, so we are calling the function draw for the class, like for the object of the class and complex animation. So and that's why in the screen we can perform some component. So remember that we will call 25 times per second. So here again we will talk about some sort of the animation. Okay, so this one we don't need anymore. So now I will come back to our previous application. So just wait until I can launch it. Okay, so complex animation video. Let's change the title. Animation video. Okay, the first what I want to do, let's freeze our object. See, in our previous app, like in our reference app, see those those 4 objects, they are frozen. So there is no any animation. So how can I do that? So here, when we design our code, see here this dx dy tell us like explain the animation movement. So if I will simply set up the movement as 0, so that will means there is no any movement. So and my object will just freeze without any movement. But rotation is still exists. So in order to cancel the rotation, so what I will do, the D angle now I will like set up as 0. Okay, done. But now our objects, so they do have a different orientation angle. So in order to fix this, so I can make 0 for the all angles. So remember that particular angles, this is the my current angle for the all of my objects. So if I will set all of them 0 and D angle is 0, so as default all of our objects will have the same orientation. So now that particular application is similar to what we have right here. So what is next? So the first part, what we will need to do is to play with the different objects. So in this particular program, there is only one ellipse coordinate 1. So where we place the vertices for our half of the ellipse. So now, what is the difference? So instead of making the half of the circle, I will need to make a quad. So remember here our image, like each of objects contains 4 paths, and each path is the 90 degree. So in that application we had 180 degree. So and that path must be changed. Okay, the first of all, so what I want to change here, like I will not have ellipse. So I do have only 2 circles for circle 1. So and here the path 1 is 90 degree. So technically I will not even call it like path 1. So that will be just 90 degree. Okay, so the first modification what I want to make, instead of like circle coordinate, let's use the circles coordinate. So and the rest I don't need. The point of this code, I want to use only one vertex buffer. So see here I do have many vertex buffers. So let's use only one vertex buffer. So where I can keep my vertices. So before we had, like in the previous application, we had many buffers. In the clone application, we had only one buffer because all objects what we are creating, they are technically the same. So here there are 2 different objects, but I again want to use the same buffer. So that is always better for the computer graphics if I'm using the one single buffer. So the size of the buffer for sure is important, but that we can handle later. Okay, now I do have one array where I'm supposed to place my vertex coordinate. Okay, so instead of the ellipse, so now I do have circle coordinates. So here is my index. So change the coordinates, and I don't have ellipse as long as we are talking about the circle. So here those radiuses will be the same for the x and y. So remember, this is our x coordinate, this is the coordinate y, this is the coordinate z. So altogether that should be enough to build the code of my ellipse. Now circle. So see, but now what is happening here? The angle is from 0 until 180 degrees. So we are making the half of our ellipse. So here instead of 180 degree, now I need 90. So I want to display only the quad of my circle. So means that here I'm supposed to divide by 2. So my angle will start from 0 and will finish when pi divided by 2. Technically here. So and finally that must give us the half of the circle. Okay, so here I'm supposed to add my ellipse coordinate. Okay, and here instead of the vertex buffer ellipse 1, so we will use only the vertex buffer. Okay, so this part is done. And at the time when I draw my object, so I can use just the vertex buffer and see how does it looks like. Again, I did not change anything. So, but if I will process that particular code, so we will have such kind of image. See what is here. So this part is our first half of the, not half, the first object, the first part. But so the angle what we use here was the pi divided by 2. So that's why we display it here. So in our code, so we also coded the second part, which is located like rotated over the 180 degree. So, but again, I will display only half of it. So that's why there are two parts here and here. So what we did, we just like modify it slightly. and those kind of slight modification causes that particular effects. Okay, so as long as we like disable all of our animation, so animation part is technically here. So we do have like translation plus rotation, so that's why those objects will experience some simple animation. So what we discussed before. So we don't need that part now, so but we will keep because I want to add it later. So the more important part is here. So I lowered the buffer, so lower the colors, and like see, perform the 180-degree rotation and draw the second circle. So what is the first problem here? See, I do have two objects, like two circles. So one big circle, another one a small circle. So the first what I will do here, again, I'm not going to change that particular part related to the animation. So, but I will need to do something with the circles. I need one big circle, another one is the small circle. So today we are going to like discuss this particular way. So I will copy this part. So in here I want to add a circle with radius r, small r, to vertex buffer. So now in our vertex buffer will be the two circles, big and small one. So, but those circles will be located together. Okay, so for that, I do have this part. Okay, so what is here? See, this is my vertices. Technically, here is that vertex buffer what we are going to create, and maybe better to add. So this is the vertices, or this is our circles coordinates. The circle coordinates what I build here. See, from 0 until vertex 21, this is my first quad of my circle with the radius r capital. Okay, so now see, starting from the vertex 22, I supposed to add vertices for the small circles. Okay, so and in order to do it correctly, so here I supposed to change. See, I cannot start from 0, 1, 2 because that will be replaced my first vertex. So and here I supposed to add index. So I cannot use this index here anymore. So instead I supposed to like increase my index. Okay, so what is happening here? This one, stop. So here that should be +1, +2. So this is our vertex 22. Okay, and inside, so I supposed to place my new circle. So the difference in between them is only the radius. So here the radius is bigger, so here the radius is smaller. So and we can add that particular part here. So finally that will be enough to see that particular effects. Okay, so all together will be the 43 vertices here. Yeah, and that should be enough, like to play with that particular part. Okay, so this part is done. So from the vertex 22 until vertex 43, I add so the coordinates for our new circle with the small radius, with the radius small r, lowercase character. Okay, done. So now automatically that data will be added into the vertex buffer. Actually now if I will run my source code, nothing will change because, like, again, we are not using that particular usage of the new circle, what we add into the circle coordinates. Okay, so why do we need to do that? Okay, so just let's keep that part in our mind. So we do have that. So and here, so when we start displaying our object, see here I process the rotation. So instead of this 190 degree, let's change it a little bit, and let's say here I want to use just 90 degree. So what will happen? See, this first half has been created by our first call. So this one. So that will display part 1. So here will be from 0 until 90 degree. So you see, as long as here we process the rotation 90 degrees, so the rotation is going this way, so we have such kind of effect. So, like, in order to see the effect what we respect, so I want to see the circle here. I supposed to play with the minus 90 degree. So, and that part will be here. So now, what if I want to see the circle 2? See here, I do have two circles. So big radius, small radius. So now we are playing only with the big radius. Why? Because here I am placing that particular data. So actually those 42 is wrong here because, see, I don't have the 42. Okay, so here, so we need to do something with those 42 vertices. Okay, so technically, according to this, here that's supposed to be 21. So now what will happen if I will launch this? Okay, so here nothing changed. It's still like two big circles. So, and we need to see something like this. So our circles must have a different radius. Okay, so the first what we need to discuss here, let's come back to our vertices. Okay, actually here the key component is this part. See, what does it mean? Pi divided by 20. So pi, this is the 180 degree, and that one is divided by 80. Actually, if I will stop in the pi divided by 2, here will not be 21. So here will be 12. So it means that this vertex is not 22, this vertex is 13. So this vertex is 14. So this vertex is 15, and this is, so what? See, here from 13 I will need to add 12, 13 vertex. Here it will be 26. So it means that the thing that things what we discuss here is correct, but we will need to consider that our d angle, this is the pi divided by 20. So it means that if I want to get like complete circle, like sorry, the half of the circle until pi, so I will have 20 vertices. So if I going from 0 until half, so here I will have only the 12 vertices. So that will be the vertex 0. This is vertex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here will be the vertex 12. Okay, now how to use that particular information? So here when I'm drawing the first vertex, so here instead of 21 I supposed to use 12. Okay, so here this is only the first part. Okay, see, if I will disable that particular part 2, yeah, I do have the first part. So now if I want to draw the second part, so what do I need to do? So here I supposed to start from the vertex 13 and read 12 vertices, because 12 vertices, this is the number of vertices in order to build half of my circle. So now if I will run this, okay, now I start having the situation what I want. So right here will be the big circle, after that the small circle. So all of them same because I did not process and change anything else. So if we want to code our, like the rest of our application, so here we must automatically like create the colors as long as the like the circle size here in our application, like in order to build like 4 like parts of our circle. So okay, remember that part is our animation part. So right here we start building like 4 parts circles. So what our circles may have, like first different radius, second different colors, isn't it? So now we need to code. So the color we technically have, but that color is only contains like 2 parts, part 1, part 2. But in our application, so now there are 4 parts. So that's why that like coding. So this code must be changed as well. So what we create? We can create the metrics which can code our circles. Okay, so see here, this is only first circle what we are creating, and it has only the 90 degree. So this circle doesn't have any rotation. So and the second one has the rotation over the 90 degree. So how can we optimize? Actually here, instead of this 90 degree, I can play with the some metrics. Oh, let's call it rotation. rotation paths. Okay, and here I supposed to place some index path ID. So how will it looks like? So rotation path. So rotation path. So that must be something like this. So inside should be like 0, 90, 180, 270. So that will be my angle. So the first 0 means that I'm going to build the first circle. 90 degrees, so we will process the revolution. So we will like rotate our skin and finally build the second part. So 180, that will be the third part here. 270, that will be our fourth part. So this part ID. So the part ID. Okay, so here it should not go this way. It should be this. So and part ID will be, so here is 0, so here is 1, so here is 2 and 3. So technically what I need to do is to make a loop like for. So here will be the integer path ID. Path ID equals 0. Path ID less than 4 because I do have 4 paths. And here path ID plus plus. So open bracket. Okay, so here close bracket. So okay, so I don't okay, rotation, color, yeah, okay. So I think better to make with just some colors. Let's say color red. So the colors I will disable for a while because we are going to change them later. Okay, so red color. So here I will not draw this triangle. So here we will process some rotation. See, because if I will rotate over the 0 degree, nothing will change. So here will be the implementation of my rotation path. So like I no need color. So in here will be my circle. So and I just need to like implement that path, rotation path, which will have that particular angles. So technically I can just copy it from here, go up. So here is our, so the matrix path. So that should be matrix float. Don't forget to add F. Okay, close. So now I do have a rotation path. So okay, so this, yeah, so we already built it. come back. So here, so we set up the color. So now the path ID I will place here. Okay, and let's see what will happen. Okay, see now I can see the 4 circles. So what is technically happened? Remember, in our application there is no circle. There is only the 90 degree of from my circle, like only 90-degree sector. But here, in that particular rotation path, I did it for 0, means that there is no rotation, and that will be my original circle, like my original sector, 90 degree. So after that, I will rotate my coordinate over the 90 degree. So here, and we will present exactly the same path with the same color. So that's why here will be the second path, like from the 90 degree until 180 degree. So after that, we rotate our coordinate again over the 180 degree. So now we will draw that path. So the path number 3. So, and in the last moment when I will do have rotation over the 270 degrees, so here we will draw that path. Okay, I think the concept is clear. So technically I do have 4 paths, but now all of those paths are same. So the circle has the same radius and same color. So that's why instead of seeing 4 paths, now I can see only 1 path. Okay, the next what we can do, let's code our colors. So for the colors, so we already did coding the colors, remember that? So this is our circle colors, 0, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 4. So except here each circle. So first of all, we will not have a circle, we will have an object, isn't it? So again, if we will come back here, so this is our objects. So they are not really circles, so they are much more complex than circle. So the object 1, so here will be the object 2, 3, and 4. So now, as long as there are, okay, back here, so there are 4 objects, and each object has the 4 components with the different colors. And now those colors we will need to code. Okay, as long as we don't have circles, we do have objects, let's change the name to the object colors. So now the object 1 has the colors like gray. Okay, remember here if we are going to the 90 degrees, going the opposite way. So gray, yellow, oh, sorry, gray, green, blue, yellow. Okay, so object 1, gray, green. So the next is blue and yellow. So the blue is coordinate 1, so that's why here I supposed to add 1, and yellow is 5. Okay, so and one by one I can like modify that particular object. So the second object like black, okay, because this is this one. So blue and red. So blue, red, 1, 3. Okay, and that should be blue, red. So 1, 3. So this one, black and yellow. So black, yellow, gray, 0. Here should be 0. Okay, again, black. This is 4, black. So the next is this path, yellow. Yellow path is 5. That's why the 4, 5. So this path is, this is third path, and this path is gray. So gray is 0, and next one is the green path. So the green path is 2. So that's why 2 is here. So and this one, so this one is blue, 1, black means 4, and red is 3. Okay, so now for the each of our object we code 4 colors. So now those particular colors I will need to build in our application. So but before, see, we do have here the color part 1, color part 2. So I don't have that part anymore. So the object, so here let's call it object path color. So for the each of our path we will place the object path color, and that will be like empty matrix with the 4 elements. So the later I will add the coordinates. Okay, copy this one, come to our source code. Okay, so here we will define the colors. So here for objects paths. Okay, so here will be the object color. Before we code our paths separately, that's why there are 4. There were 2 lines, but now I don't have those lines. So the circle colors, here will be the object colors. So the object ID, yeah, that will tell us which of them. So, but here we need, okay, instead of this 0, so because 0 here means that this is the object 1. So, but in my case, that will be the paths. Okay, once again, what is happening here? So this is the 0, 1, 2, this is okay. So the object color, so the object ID, assume 0. So I am talking about that particular path. So path ID, so that here will be 0, 1, 2, or 3. So this is our that loop. Okay, and the eye color, so that will tell us just the colors one by one. So, and the colors I will read from this matrix. Just copy those 2 matrices. Will be easy to follow. Okay, so here I will disable them. So what is happening? My object ID is 0, so I am building this object. Okay, now paths is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Assume 0. So 0, 0. So where is it? This is our object color. Object color 0, 0 is 0. So 0 means the current color. So the 0. So that 0 I will use, see here. So that will be my 0. For this path is 0. So an eye color will be from 0 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So it means that I will read these particular numbers and place them into the object color. So it means that for the path 1, my color will be gray. So now instead of the red color, so if I will play with the object path color, so now for the each of my object, I can code so the necessary colors. So and now if we will again come back to our image, so now we can see that our image, like our own objects, 4 objects, now start having the colors what I want. See there, same here. All colors exactly the same what I want. Okay, so this part is done. So the next what we will need to do is to consider how to handle the radiuses. So remember, so those objects what we are using here, so in our vertex buffer there are two different circles, a big circle, so the big circle with the radius r, so for that I will need to call the vertices from 0 to 12, and the small circle which starts from the indexes 13 until 26. So how can I use that particular information in my source code? Okay, see here, I always start from 0. So this is the reason why I do have the big circles everywhere in my application. So now here, if I will, instead of this 0, so I will call elements from some array, circles are path ID. So remember the path ID here will tell us where is my radius. Okay, and now let's say what will be the inside of the circle's ID. Okay, so that I will delete because that will tell us what exact path I want. Okay, now see the first circle again. So the order will be 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one is the big circle. So I supposed to start from 0. Remember here, if I start from 0, okay, let me do it this way. So if here 0, so this is like circle, big. So here, if I start from 13, this is the circle, small. So the first one must be big. So that's why here will be 0. So the second one is the big 2. So that's why 0. So but number 3 and number 4 will be the small circles. So that's why here will be 13 and 13. So and now like we will have to implement that particular circle like in the header of our application. So here okay, those rotation paths we already built. So here we can add our circle radiuses. So that can be integer because we are talking about the numbers. Okay, now see, there are 4 objects, and for each object I will need to identify those particular numbers, because again here 0 means big circle, 1 means small circle. So, but now I need two-dimensional array, so where I can play with the objects. So the objects and paths. Okay, so again here, so that will be my path ID. So this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3. So once again, this is the path ID 0, 1, 2, 3. So for the first object, so this is our object 1. So this is our first object. So I do have like 0, 0, so means that this is the big circle. See, 0 means the big circle. So and after that will be the sotin. Sotin means the small circle. So small circle here and here. So the second object is here. So and for the second objects here, I will make the certain codes. So see this part. So that this is our second object, and this part is small. The small is sotin. So the sotin. So sotin. Okay, next is big. Big is 0. 0. So this part, third part, is small. Small is sotin again, and the last one is 0. So this is our object 2. So now object 3. So object 3 is here. So the first one is big, so means 0. And all other 3 is small. So sotin, sotin, sotin. So and that is our object 3. So and the last one is this one. So here we do have so big, 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 small. So it will be 0, 0. So first part 0, second part 0, third part 0, and the last fourth part has the small circle. So that's why here is the number must be sotin. So 0, 0, 0, sotin, and close. Okay, done. This here is object 4. This object 0, 0, 0, sotin. Okay, so now if I will run my code, okay, so here that should be to coordinate. So path ID. So and here that should be my object. Object ID. So in like one by one, that will be either 0 or sotin. So and together that will tell us how to build my circles. Now let's try. Okay, succeeded. So now if we will see the reference, so our our object looks fine. Okay, so what else we can do here is to make so the animation for all of those different objects. See, before when we talk about the animation, so we consider that our object will move, which is technically perfect. Okay, and will rotate, but the object will rotate all together. So what if I want to rotate just like some part of that particular object? So and some part will not have the rotation effect. So see here in our applications, we do have the big circle and the small circle. Okay, so assume that the big circle will always stay stable, so will not experience any rotation. So, but those 3 small circles here, or like two circles, one circle with the small radius, will try to revolve like across that particular center. So it looks like a wheel, like very strange wheel. So in such kind of effect, let's try to implement. So that will be our next task. So let's try to make that particular animation. So that will be our first try is in that particular application. So here, so what we can see, those big circle part is keep unchanged, but those two pieces from the of the small circle, so it's keep rotating you through the like around the same center. So and let's try that particular animation now. That will be the first one. For that particular app. Okay. So this is our current application. As we can see here, there is no any movement related to our small circle. So, and everything is keep freeze, and animations technically disabled in that particular application. Okay, see now what is going on in our application. So if I want to implement the rotation of that small circle through the big one, so means that the rotation, like animation part, animation facilities, rotation facilities for the big circle and the small circle should be different. And that will be the critical difference in between application what we built before and the current application. See, technically now in the object one, so there are two pieces which is moving like one against another one. So technically what we can do here, so in order to implement that particular animation, so we may try to combine object 1 and let's say object 2. So what will be the point around? See, we already have the animation part in our application. So this part is already here. This is from our previous code. But the point is that this particular part now simply disabled. So we are not using it at all. Okay, so what do I want to do is to make two objects, like object 1 and object 2. So I want to connect them each other. So, but the first let's make. So let's make them. Okay, so I will just keep this one for reference because my image may disappear. Okay, so what I want to do here is to add the background. So the background line. So for example, here, if I will play like 6 and 6, so I supposed to see the background. So the background. So the background is white color, so means that here should be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, now see the object color. So for the first one, so here I do have the colors like 0, 2, 1, 5. 0 gray, 2 green, 1 blue, and 5 yellow. So if I want to combine those two objects together, so let's make it only, let's make the first object which contains only the two pieces. Okay, so how can I do that? So here, if I will place 6, 6, so see now, so that part, so where I supposed to display yellow and blue circle, so now disappear. So technically I cannot see it anymore. So, and let's say like from the second one, so here is my second one. So I will make that part. So it means that first two, so remember that this is the part 1, 2, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here we do have that combination like 1, 3, 1, 3. So the first two, that's supposed to be background. So here I will place 6, 6. So and those two parts supposed to be our blue. So blue is 1. So 1. Stop. Blue. So yeah, blue 1, and another one is yellow. Yellow is 5. Okay, so that's why here will be 5. So and see what will happen if I will run. Okay, so not exactly the same what I want, because this yellow circle now is the big one. So and actually this matrix is controlling our size. So it's controlling our size. So that circle must be small. So and this is our like second one. So here that should be 13. So those two doesn't matter because I am not displaying them, because they have a background color. So if I will run it now, okay, so now there like looks the similar what I want. So two colors here, so those two big circles here, yellow and blue circles there. So and that big part what we display here now is disappear. So what do I need to do now? So technically what I can do, I can take that second object and make the center of the second object is the same as the center of the first object. So and finally I will come back to that particular shape. Okay, so what to do? We need to go to the coordinate. Okay, see here, I am displaying the center 0, 3, 0, 4. This is the center of our first object. So 0, 3 minus 0, 4, this is the center of our the second object. So here, if I will delete this 0, so now the center for the first and second object will be the same. So now if I will run, oops, okay. Yeah, okay, see here what's happened. I cannot display the two objects which is intersecting each other. So technically what should happen here, so I supposed to display the object like the two small objects, and only after that I can display two objects, like two objects with the bigger radius. Okay, so here, so if I will come back to my source code, so finally what I will need to do is to handle my circles in a more systematic way. So here when we are displaying our object, so here what I need to do, I need to display the big circle first, sorry, the small circle first, and after that display the big circle. So the easiest way to do that, so here when we display our object, so check whenever I do have a background or not. So see if I do have a background, so if okay, so the color object is path. So equal 6. So here like if background color, stop, if not background color. So kind of display the object. Okay, so now we start seeing our data. So now I will need to implement the rotation. So how can I implement the rotation? See those, now the blue and yellow circles is the object too. So, and in our application, there is the way like to handle so the rotation for the second object. Okay, so here where is this the angle? So for the second object, I can set up some angle. Okay, so now we start seeing that our second object is start rotating. So, but if we will come back to our application, so see here where is the difference. So our small circle should go inside of the big circle. So, but now the effect is on opposite. So why does it happen? Because I am displaying the second object first. So I am displaying the first object first, the second object second. So that's why first I will display that gray circle, green circle, but that will be displayed first, and after that I will display yellow circle and blue circle second. So that's why that will have a visual effect that like small sectors, small circles. So they are rotating above the big circle. So now if I want to change the effect, so technically I will need to change the order of my first object and second object. See, I am displaying the first object first. After that, displaying the second object second. So, but now if I will change the order and I will display the small circle first and after that the big circle. So we will start seeing this effect. See, I am displaying the small circle first, and in the top of it, I will display the big circles. So finally, I will see that particular effect. Okay, so how can I change? Very simple. So I will just so the first I need to replace the colors. Okay, this one I will delete. So this one, that one will be our object 2. So this is the blue plus yellow. Yellow, and here let's say small circle. So here the 0266, that will be the object 1, which is the gray and green. So here will be no blue and white because this is our background colors. Okay, and another things what we will need to do is to change the circle radiuses. Okay, so here, like the first object should be, technically it doesn't really matter, let's say all small. So in here will be the like small and big. I can even make it like all small. Yeah. So technically it doesn't really matter what numbers I will place here. See, okay, for the object 2, object 1. So the object 1 now should be the small circle. So that's why we will be small, small, small. So the object 1 is this one. So that will be the big circle. So and technically that will be the all 4 parts big. So here, remember 0 means the big circle, 13 means the small circle. So now if I will launch, interesting. Yeah, okay, funny. So okay, so here in order to solve the problem, I need to like rotate the first object, and the second object must stay fixed. So then we will have the opposite effect. Okay, so now our application is actually the same as we had in the reference. So see here, it is like keep rotating. Okay, perfect. So like what else we can do? So quite many things. The first of all, like let's fulfill that particular circle. So why here we do have only those 2 parts. So see, for the object 1, which is actually the moving object right here, this is the so this is the big one. So and here I don't want to display that part. Okay, so here, see, if instead of this 6 I will place some other colors, so that will automatically change. So that's that part which is now like invisible with some certain colors. So let's say like here instead of 6 I will use 3 and 4. So technically here that will be our what? Not blue and yellow anymore. So that will be red plus black plus blue plus yellow. Okay, so now we start seeing that interesting part. Okay, so and like for instance, let's also create this object. So for that object, I want to implement something similar to that part. So and so and now okay, so this is our like object 3 and object 4. So this object I don't need anymore. So again, see, I will need to display the small object first, and after that the big object. So the small object will have those small components. So the next object what I will display is the object 3, isn't it? So technically this is now 1, this is 2. So the object 3, so here that should be the small circle. So, and the small circle should be green. So green. Okay, so technically this color should be first. Let's make it so black. Black will not be good. So let's say red plus yellow. So yellow, now gray, gray, gray plus green, green. So that will be our small circle. So and the big circle. So that will be only one sector. So which is black. So black is 4. 4. The rest will be the background color. So which is white. So black, white, white, white. Okay, so this part let's modify. So the object 3, so here the everything will be small. So and for the object 4, which is here, okay, so here it is different. So this is object 3, this is the object 4. Okay, so let's make the object 3 all small. So the all small, and for the object 4, so here I will display only the first sector. So it means that the first number should be 0. The rest doesn't really matter because I am not displaying the object which has the background color. So now if I will launch, okay, so now we start seeing that particular part. Okay, there is only one problem, why he is 4. So that's supposed to be red, red is 3. Okay, so now we do have that particular part. Okay, so now I supposed to like move them together. Okay, let's move that circle number 3 into that position 4. Remember, this is the object 3, this is the object 4. So, and what do I need to do? Okay, so here, this is our object 3. This is object 3, this is the object 4. So what I did, I just make them centers same. So now if I will launch, so yeah, that object moved here. So and now I cannot see those red component. So now what I need to do for the third. So see, this is our first object, second object. So now the first object, our small circles. Second object, what is here is the big circles. So here it's again, third object, this is the small circles. So that sector, the black sector, this is our object 4. But object 3 and object 4 now they do have overlapping. So and they are kind of displayed in the screen so together. So why does it happen? Again, the coordinate for the object 3 and object 4 now we made same. So and in order to see the rotation effect, okay, let's make 2. See, this is the first object rotation. This is our small one. So now we can see it. So the second one, this part, does not rotate because we simply set up that particular angle as 0. So and here is our third and fourth object, and for the third object the rotation speed will be two angle. So now we can see that particular effect. So and just for like as an interesting part, so what will happen if I will like add some speed to the first object as well? So now they will have some kind of double rotation. So the first object and the second object, they all moving and like technically like rotate together. So we can like set up any different rotation points, like rotation speed. We can increase, decrease, so that all of those effects is possible to implement. So the next, what will be better to implement here? See, as long as we already have the complex rotation, so now we will need to move our object. See, again, like we did not change the code, so means that this certain part related to the rotation and the translation is already implemented in our code. So the point is that there is no movement now because if we will come back to our settings, the program settings, so see here, this is the dxy, this is our coordinate, this is the settings. What we can change here, that will move our circles somewhere like across the screen. So just let's try to add some numbers. So see, they're all zeros. So now let's add some numbers. So how will it looks like? Okay, see what is happening now. Our first object start moving, so they are not connected anymore. So again, why does it happen? Because technically the object 1 and object 2, they are still disjoint object. So they had the rotation effect together. Why? Because we technically place the object 1 and object 2 in the same location. Now when the object 1 start going somewhere, that's why we can see that those two objects, they are not located together anymore. So how to fix that issue? So, because I want to see the object 1 is moving together with the object 2. So I just need to add the same coordinate, moving coordinate for the object 1 and object 2. Okay? So this is our small circle. Object 1. So that one is the big circle. I can even call it. So this is the kind of red. So red, black. So red, black, blue, and yellow. Yellow. So this is our object 1. Okay, so this big circle. So this is what? Gray plus green. But this is still object 1. So see, if I will make the coordinate, moving coordinate for the object 1 and object 2 same, so technically they became the same object. Okay, so now we start seeing that our object 1 and object 2 is start moving together. So let's make the speed a little bit faster. So the same things we can do for our second object. Okay, so the coordinate for that object must be the same. Again, remember this is the small. So this is the small. So this is our big circle. Object 2. So and this is our small circle. Okay, so the small circle here is the green, gray, green, gray. So the green, red, yellow. Red, yellow, so this is our object. And our big circle, this is only one component, and this is black. Black. So now, by using the code what we already built the last class, so we technically implement our complex logic related to the animation task what we had today. So now we start seeing, so now there are only two movable objects, but in reality we program four of them. So again, what is happening here? So we just connect the center of the object 1 and object 2 and object 3 and object 4. And so finally we can build such kind of animation, like complex animation for our application. So that's all for today. So carefully implement that particular source. So this is pretty interesting approach. How can we handle the complex animation with the multiple objects? What has the complex relationship between each other? So this is the way how it may work. Okay, that's all for today. Good luck.